When was the last time you felt both horny and scared at the same time? If your answer was just today, well, then welcome to adulthood. And it is specifically with those two things in mind that the game The Killing Antidote was created. The best way to describe it would be HENTERROR. Yes, a mix of hentai and terror. However, don't turn your head just yet. I guarantee you that this video game not only has more than meets the eye, but also surpasses Resident Evil's latest releases in one very vital aspect. Nope, I'm not talking about this, even though it does. Giggity! Now that I got your attention, hit the like button on this video and let's talk about this sleeper hit. As I said earlier, The Killing Antidote leans heavily on its main character's appearance. I already forgot her name, so I'll call her Tiffany. Nah, just kidding, you're putting the shoes of Jodi, a fearless freelance journalist who's searching for a fabled cure for a deadly plague that's causing mutation and chaos on a global level. So yeah, Resident Evil, only Chinese. But make no mistake though, this isn't a slack job copy-paste gig. First off, let's talk about the most important aspect of any horror game, the atmosphere. Having its first episode set in a lab where Jodi's searching for data regarding the miraculous cure, The Killing Antidote has players on the edge of their seat for the vast majority of time. Dark hallways, ventilation shafts, and ravaged rooms are the norm here. Danger lurks around every corner. You'll find notes, audio logs left behind by the staff just moments before the chaos started, hints, collectibles, and even damaged hard drive that can manually be restored at Jodi's apartment in a game that's best described as a simpler version of Sudoku. Trust me, this thing is mad fun to do and solve. And of course, we can't talk about classic-styled horror games without one of its most iconic creatures, zombies, or whatever the people in this game have become. They move faster than you'd see in a Resident Evil remake, but here's the twist, so do you. Your movements are very fluid and you can even dodge, which is something you'll need to do frequently. Now, remember that aspect I told you about that The Killing Antidote surpasses Resident Evil remakes in? Believe it or not, it's the combat system. We're gonna talk about this for a while, so before we get to it, and trust me, it's really, really good, I have a small request for you. Hit the like button and subscribe in the name of very well-made body physics so I can keep the show afloat and make more videos like this. If the game captures your attention, also make sure to share it with your friends too. Your support is much appreciated. You guys are the best. And never forget. So, it's time to talk about busting heads. I'm gonna start with the most satisfying aspect of it, which is something I've never seen done so well in a game of this style. Melee combat. You see, in Resident Evil remakes, fighting with a melee weapon always had your character looking like a little girl while handling a knife. Not that little girls should ever handle knives, but you know what I'm talking about. So, even Leon attacked like he'd never used a combat knife before. Things got better in RE4, of course, but for both, RE2 and 3 remakes, this aspect was very poorly implemented. However, in The Killing Antidote, attacking your enemies with melee weapons does exactly what it should. One of the first weapons you get in the game is the hand axe. And let me tell you right now, this thing mows down opponents with vengeance. You'll see so many limbs flying and heads being busted wide open that George Romero would build a statue to this. In here, melee weapons are reliable, as they should be. And different types of weapon have different types of attacks and physical effects towards enemies. Your axe will have common zombies staggered at every hit, whereas a knife would cause piercing damage and have them react differently. And oh yeah, you also have one heavy attack for each weapon, and it is deadly. You can oftentimes hit more than one enemy with a heavy attack from your hand axe, sometimes taking out more than one at the same time, or at least severely injuring secondary targets. But we are not done yet. You can also throw your weapons. Every single one of them, which makes for a much more dynamic combat system while still giving out that Resident Evil remake feeling, albeit a lot faster and much more entertaining, even though the game's focus is not combat, it's exploration. Now, I know you're asking yourself, wait, are you saying what I think you're saying? I can throw every weapon that I have. Yes. And get ready, because you will throw your pistol at a zombie by mistake more than once. I always end up dying because I begin laughing and lose focus. It's just hilarious, you know, you're in the middle of a combat, boom, off goes your shotgun, hey! Still, on the combat department, every firearm functions better than they would in Resident Evil remakes. In here, you don't need to wait 5 business days before firing your handgun again. You can fire every weapon very quickly, and you'll have to on many occasions because enemy placement has been done in a very intelligent fashion in this game. Oftentimes you'll have 2 zombies coming in hot at you from the front, only to have another one, say, come running down the hallway behind you. Remember guys, George Romero. Things go south hard when they do, even if the game has a very manageable difficulty, thanks to the excellent combat system it gives you. And also, there's one more thing regarding the combat. Enemy damage. Enemies are never bullet sponges. A few handgun rounds will off a regular zombie, shotgun blasts have a higher effective range, and high caliber revolvers don't take a month in between shots. And yes, now let's talk about what you've all been waiting for. Boobs! It's pretty obvious that one of the Killing Antidote's main selling points are Jodi's assets. You can even increase her chest and hip side at her apartment. Yes, you can go that far. Character customization is insane. Hairstyles, skin color, lipstick, makeup, it's all there. And as you explore the game, you find many different pieces of clothing for you to use. Now, while I do think that some of them are downright ridiculous and designed for you to play with another type of joystick, if you know what I mean, many of them are really cool. Customizing your characters has always been fun and will always be. Now, the reason why I left this for so late into the video is very simple. There's a solid and extremely entertaining game here to be played underneath all of that borderline hentai visual customization. As a matter of fact, you can go the entire game without so much as changing your outfit and have a solid horror experience. The story is also nothing to scoff at, even though most of us understand dick of Chinese. The lines are delivered with intention, emotion, and every piece of info you find adds up to the tension, the mystery, the atmosphere of the game. No matter how many times we've seen this kind of story before, it still entertains us, it still connects with us. So, in the end, where does that leave us with the Killing Antidote? Well, if you were thinking of giving this game a skip because of its sexualized aspect, then think again. This is one of those rare occurrences where the sexy doesn't get in the way of the action or the story itself. And if you don't pay attention to it, you barely notice it's there, even though it's got some amazing jiggling mechanics. So if you enjoyed this video, my friends, I invite you to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel to help keep the show afloat, to help me keep bringing more content like this for you. And it's been a pleasure, like always. So this was Belmont speaking to you, and I'll see you next time. Happy Halloween.